Most English teachers rely to at least some extent on a course book, but how closely do you follow it? Emma Heidemann recently put up a LinkedIn post about this. You can just find the link below, and it generated loads of good ideas, I thought. So if you're interested to know what they are, keep watching. I'm Jo Gakonga, and if this is the first time we're meeting, I'm a teacher educator, a CELTA trainer and assessor. I've got a PhD in applied linguistics, and I run a website with useful material for English language teachers at elttraining.com. If you like this, don't forget to like and subscribe. I make a new video every week. Emma Heidemann is a coursebook writer herself, so she knows a thing or two about them, and in her post she asked this question. We're expected to follow a coursebook quite closely. Do you have any advice or recommendations for further reading or how to adapt it? She then followed that up with these 4 pieces of advice, so think about which ones of them you usually follow. Number 1 was think about the outcome of the lesson or the series of lessons before you open the book. So what is it that you want your learners to be better at doing, or to be able to do even better? Number 2, look at the coursebook page and decide which of the activities will help your learners to achieve that outcome. So it may just be a case of tweaking things, for example, turning a grammar exercise into a speaking activity. Number 3 is consider what other material you might need to fill the gaps. And number 4 was don't forget to look at the teacher's book, because there may be some good advice in there on how to introduce the material or alternative approaches or even extra activities. Now, I think all of these 4 pieces of advice are really useful, especially actually the idea of the starting point being what you want to teach them rather than what the course book includes. But as well as Emma's initial thoughts, these initial pieces of advice, she invited comments from others, and there are some great ideas below the line. Harry Waters kicked off, and he reiterated how useful a good teacher's book can be. So he said, we often spend hours trying to think of ways to jazz up our lessons, only to realise that someone has already been paid to do this for us. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Gillian Flaherty came in early on too, and she noted that finding interesting and creative ways to introduce themes, vocabulary structures can make a huge difference. For me, starting the lesson directly from the course book can be a challenging way to engage learners. I think this is a really important reminder. I think any lesson that starts with turn to page 28 won't usually inspire very much enthusiasm, in my experience at least. Hall Houston pointed out some useful resources too. The book by Mario Rimvalucri called Humanising Your Coursebook. You can find that at Delta Publishing. And also a free book from the British Council called Creativity in the English Language Classroom. If you want that, the link to download it is just below. A few people also mention making the course book more relevant to learners, which is always a good idea, of course. Claire Hayward suggests using the course book as a springboard and then personalising it afterwards. And Emma also reminded us that we could do it the other way around and start with some kind of personalised discussion and then go into the course book activities. I wonder which way you usually go round. As an extension to this, Ana Clara Castillo Ramas, I hope I pronounced that correctly, mentioned bringing in local issues so that where course books are more international, things are brought back to being more relevant to your learners. Want some more? Erin O'Byrne threw in that the transcripts in the back of the course books, there's usually listening transcripts there, can be used in a variety of ways. she's right, I think, too. You could use them for supporting listening activities, but also for use for vocabulary development and grammar development too. Note to self. I should probably do a video about that sometime. There's lots of good ideas there. Gillian Galligan says to make sure that you ask your colleagues who've been teaching with that book for a while for ideas. They're always a good resource. And finally, and this is a good one, I think, a nice one to finish on, Muhammad E. said this: wise words to finish with, I think. Wow, well, that's quite a lot, and there were other things in the thread too, so feel free to go and have a look at them, but there was really too much to mention everything. I wonder how many of these things you already do. Let me know in the comments, and I hope this has been helpful. See you next time. Bye bye.